Hello peeps, Dragon here, welcome back to another episode of Starmade, of course from a Starsquadron server. This is the episode 9 and I promised to talk about what's going on in my life because yeah, I'm really busy recently and some of my fans were wondering like, oh, why are there so few videos lately? So that's coming up, see you in a bit. Okay, so how to explain what's going on? Well, the short version would be I am just busy with my real job. Okay, long version being my job has also changed, yada yada, but I need to start way before because, my entire life kind of has changed. My wife was always good at cooking and baking, right? Okay. And when we married and she, moved in here, yada yada yada, friends were often asking for if she could do them a cake or if she could do them, stuff, basically, right? Over the time, stuff became a little too much, so she started, taking money for it and, getting the papers for running this as a little business. Side business. And then she got like frustrated in her job manager job. She was managing a little cosmetics store thing. And then when the point came up to when she was thinking about quitting, that we thought about, you could really you try doing your thing, right? And so we did. And of course, she needs a lot of help for that because you just do not found a company and try running it on your own. Yada yada yada. So I was in the IT. I was freelancing, so I did basically projects whenever projects arose, and the other time I did nothing. Well, I did YouTube. Okay, so now when I had basically back then when I had time, I could make lots of videos, and when I had projects, I could still have videos, to put out there, But so basically, nobody would notice when I work and when I was like between contracts. Okay, so that's the thing. And now it's like I started growing hating it because I was doing this whole IT thing for over 20 years. And the thing is, if you are, I kind of would have liked what I did if I would have been able to do it my way. But the thing is, in such a business, that you are constantly defending yourself, why it takes so long, why it costs so much, yada yada yada. And then you already know that the customer won't be pleased with it because as the thing was brought up to them or proposed to them as solution for their problems, basically those guys which did the selling stuff didn't tell them the real truth about what they were getting and what parts were missing. Well, it's not like they lied, but they basically just did their, selling job. And selling means you have to underbid the competition, and if you have to underbid the competition, you need to cut basically features which would have made sense in there, right? And so basically, I was constantly forced to do a rubbish job in a short amount of time. And I hate doing rubbish jobs in short amount of times. So I basically kept working only for a few companies which basically loved me having or bringing the knowledge into their projects because, I did that for over 20 years, pretty much following every basic trend around there, right? So when the internet was born, I was like one of the first. I know you couldn't say it that way. I mean, I started using it kind of late. Netscape 3 was already out. Okay, basically for 99% of the world's population, that's really early. Anyway, in regards of, the starting group, it's, yeah, anyway. Your perception on stuff is always biased by your experiences, because everything you experience as normal, not realizing that like 90% of the world's population never might have gotten even near this, right? So, yeah. Basically, if I could teach that to a youngster, that would maybe be the most important lesson to learn, that just because you perceive something as normal does not mean that you might not be absolutely gifted with something and it is absolutely not normal. And you really should try figuring out if other people can do that stuff you can do as easily as you can accomplish it. Because if not, well, maybe you should use these tricks and traits you are given and, go that way and go deeper with it. Anyway, so I kind of lost my train of thought. Where was I? Right. So she showed me. Well, the point is, if you want to interact with one of your projects, you have to have a computer in front of you, and you'd be sitting, right? Okay. Point is, if you are sitting all the time, you are not the healthiest of, men, women, whatever. And this kind of also adds to your level of frustration, okay? So when my wife was like, hey, look, I could really help here, and we are really doing great donuts, and they are awesome. Basically, what she did is, you might be wondering, what are you talking about? I mean, I can buy donuts the shop next door, right? The thing is, you can't buy vegan ones. And she has to be vegans for health reasons. And when I met her first, she was like, cooking two foods, one for her and one for me. And because she can cook and bake, I was like, well, you don't have to make two foods. I mean, that's a waste of time. I'm driving over here about an hour in a big traffic jam, and tomorrow I will have to drive back an hour to get to my job. So you don't have to spend another hour being in the kitchen and just cooking a second food, right? So I just told her to make more of the really great smelling stuff she eats, and yeah, she did. So I basically kind of became vegan around her, and I don't want to dive too deep into this philosophy, because I'm not one of those, how would I call them? Well, those people which are accusing you of being an animal killer and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm not kind of one of those guys, because that's like, I hate that. Because they are like throwing such a bad light on, people which just make up their mind and just thinking about, we could, like, if more people would think about what they eat every day, we could solve so much problems the world has. Because, for example, all these climate gases out there, basically, if we would eat less meat would get produced. So while they're producing this meat, they would shit less, right? And most of the shit basically it's 40%. 40% of all the gases out there which they are debating over destroying our atmosphere thing, right? That's basically just from food production. And it's other stuff as well. If you're interested in it, please, hey, go ahead. Read it up, inform yourself. Hey, that's the best thing you can ever do. I really enjoyed it. It's a great find. So I'm really grateful for her, bringing me to this. But I am not like any, and I don't point fingers at other people. If you like meat, then you like meat. That's no big deal, right? But, Anyway. So she baked them, and she basically did a donut recipe that is kind of close to those we experienced on a visit in Spain. And in Spain, the donuts there are they're really squishy. I really like them because you really go like anyway. And basically, it took us over a year to find a recipe making this entire donut in a vegan way, kind of like they are. And we are filling them like with puddings and marmalade and such stuff, and and we are coating them with whatever all the toppings we have. And people really love these as well. And when you are selling such a thing, you are not getting asked about why does it take so long and why does it cost so much. No, they're going like $2.50. I mean, a normal donut you get for €1 or €1.40, right? Because we are doing them handmade, we have to price higher. But people are like, $2.50, yeah, no problem. Here, take it, give me two, right? And thanks for making them. And this thanks for making them kind of changed my how I perceived my life as well, because that's such a positive how to say that. That's such a positive feedback you get there, that I'm really having problems, doing the other job, kind of. Well, not for every customer, but for most of them, which are not really valuing what I could bring to the table knowledge-wise, which are just see me as one of many who just does their project. So they do all the contacts to the customer, and they just need someone to execute what they have discussed with them, knowing already that they will have to. I don't like how business is made in the IT. Anyway, so I kind of got into that thing of not really liking doing what I did for over 20 years. And then it started this year that the hot weather came. And first we did really, really good because we had some mild weather and we really sold well. And right now it's a bit problematic because people don't eat donuts with 40 degrees Celsius out there. So, but the thing is, we already got other products and they're working really well. But it gets more and more work, kind of, because we are spending more time in the kitchen, and so also preparing caterings, like vegan caterings, not just sweet, everything. And it's basically how to get the business rolling, because if you just started, first year is really hard because you need to get your name out, you need to yada yada. And another thing which is a bit a part of mine is that I actually have to do the web shop. And so yeah, this also, I ran into a few troubles there because just recently we switched to a new server because the old one did not give me new hosting, right? Because the old one did not give me all the error messages I would need, and you have to fight with so much stuff. And then like the financial department tax thingy is coming, right? And then the you are doing food, so you need to be the health departments coming over and looking at what you're doing, yada yada yada. So basically we also ran into problems like trying to buy some stuff for a little less. And for example, we had a how's it called, for the dishes, the washing machine. Anyway, kind of it's broke. It doesn't work because one pump fails to pump the water out again. Yeah, we ran into all those problems along the way, and it's still a great experience because we are learning so much, right? It's an awesome experience. But the thing is, because we are working together often, means that we are also together often at home. And the thing is that I can't record when she's around. First of all, I would disturb her because she likes to, watch some TV, whatever. And me speaking into the microphone kind of in the same or in the next room is just like, what the hell's going on over there, right? So she can't focus on what and the other thing is that if someone, like, it does not matter whose it is, if I'm not or let's put it like, if I'm not alone, I can't record because I'm always like getting out of focus, like, what did I wanted to say, what's going on over there, yada yada yada. So I can't focus on just doing my recording because I get distracted too much. And this means my time for doing videos really went really short. Okay. And then the other thing is, I also would have liked to play a bit more, but if I could not record, I hesitate to play because I don't want, to play ahead of you guys following the build, right? So yeah, I kind of skipped out of Starmade for a while. Actually, was not so bad because I figured that this whole rail system also needs a little bit of rework, just because, for example, let's say you have a harvester thing and it has its harvest beams on an entity that is docked to a rail on the main ship, right? Then this thing cannot put the harvested items into the main ship. It can't, okay? So that's one thing that, for example, really bugs me. Another thing would be, let's say you have a big ship, and this big ship, you want to give it an airlock, but you want to have the airlock to be moved out from the ship, basically to bridge over to a vessel next to the big ship. Okay? So let's say it's a really big ship, then you can't, you have to be very precise with your steering, right? So you can't control this from the bridge. You have to have a separate control room facing out, for example, sideways, if the bridge would come out sideways, facing sideways, so you could put the airlock over to the other vessel where the other vessel has its universal docking port thing, right? So basically, yeah, to to connect to both of them. But there is basically no thing that you could be part of the airlock or steering the airlock and watching through the airlock camera when you still want to control the main ship. So yeah, basically what you could have done is you have this airlock moving out on a rail, right? And you could have put a camera on that thing, so right behind the rail docker maybe, so you could exactly point where you have to shoot, right? And then you would basically be in your bridge, and then you would like jump over to that camera, rotate the entire ship, yada yada, but that's not possible. Okay? Does not work. And this is the stuff where I feel like, yeah, this rail system, it's cool and all, but until it gets really useful, they still need to have to do a lot of stuff. So, yeah. So I kind of don't feel I have missed out too much, but still, it's, yeah. Okay. Anyway, regarding Starmade, you see I'm building here, and yeah, I am trying, and that's a thing I really want to do. I want this ship to be ready and being unloaded, or I will upload it in any state it is when this channel reaches 3,750 subscriber. Why this number? Because it's 3/4 of 5,000, right? Right. Anyway, I just figured that because I am raising about 100 subscribers a month, like roughly, right? So in about 2.5 months, I would like to give out the ship I'm building here. And it still gets some more features, yada yada yada, but I also would like to have this as a little for you guys. Okay? So until then, I really want to have you guys following me along while I do all this stuff I want to do. I mean, it will get rockets and lasers and yada yada yada, all the good stuff, And basically, I hope that you understand how I'm also thinking when I'm doing such stuff. Okay, so this episode is not too important build-wise because all I did is just laying out the mostly interior stuff, like where the rooms will be, where the crew quarters will be, kitchen, med bay, and the separate room I just did for, or I did here for, the bridge, the all that stuff. It will not be a huge vessel, around 6, maybe 8 people on board. So, more like 4 to 6 anyway. But it will have some nice features, and if everything should work out, then I really would like to present you something special. I'm not sure really what that is going to be, but hopefully I could find someone, to battle with it, kind of. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so basically what's going on in my life. So I hope you excuse my lack of videos lately. I'm getting back to it. But it just it's not that easy, finding free time to record. Okay, so I have no clue where I am in the video footage now, but I'll just say thanks for watching, and please leave a like if you liked it, and see you next time with a bit more technical stuff again, I guess. I might finish the interior and just, or I might not. I'm not sure. Anyway, next time I'm like more talking about what you guys are actually seeing in the video, because this time it was more like you could watch me build in the office without hearing me talking, or you could just listen to me talking while not even having the video up, just because you love my soothing voice, right? Anyway, yeah, so next time we'll be talking more about what's happening on the screen. See you next time. Bye, guys.